What's up, guys? Braided Zero here, bringing you a grounded video today. I figured, it dropped yesterday. Really loved it. I've been playing a lot of it, and I figured I'd bring you guys 10 quick tips to get you started. Again, this is a beginner video. Intermediate people who've been playing at least, a couple hours, or for the most part, going to figure this up on their own. All I'm really trying to do is provide a little head start for maybe some people who are just now getting started on it. So, as always, like and subscribe, comment down below with maybe your tips, and let's get right into it. Tip number 1, look up if you are needing some water and cut down some grass. You will find water pooling on the top part of the grass. All you got to do is hit it once and it will drop. Or otherwise, you can always go to Turned Over Leaves is a good place, and the oak tree has a spot that seems to spawn water pretty frequently, so you can always go there as well. As a last resort, you can of course drink the water that you can find in puddles, but it will decrease your hunger, so just be prepared to go ahead and eat some food afterwards. Tip number 2 is acorns spawn at the oak tree very frequently. I would almost say daily, but it's probably even more frequently than daily currently. Don't know if they're going to modify that, but go over there in the early part of the game. You have to go there anyways at some point once you find the machine, and just, break open some acorns. They're not only a good source for your food, but they also, with one of our other tips, can get you some armor. Tip number 3 is moving stacks in inventory is much easier than using the actual sort. I think it's X on Xbox in order to send something into the chest. Once you make one, just go ahead and pick up the whole stack if that's your intent and move it in with A. It's a lot easier than moving one item at a time. I actually tried to clear out my entire inventory in the early part of the game using X, and I crashed my game, and I tried it twice and it crashed both times. Tip number 4 is use the D-pad if you're on controller, and then, I don't know, somebody down below comment on what the exact hotkeys are for the PC, but using D-pad is a lot better whenever you're on console because you can build much quicker. Pushing up on the D-pad takes you straight to the build menu. You can also emote and other things like that, but more importantly, it's the building menu. Tip number 5, in your menu in the top right hand corner, it will show you the active time. It's in military time, so learn your military time, but it will help if you are maybe planning an adventure out. As it gets later in the evening, you might consider not doing that, especially because fighting at night is just worse. Plus, more things aggro on you at night, and I believe that spiders roam a lot more at night. I have not been able to prove that quite yet, but I don't know, that's what I think. Moving straight into tip number 6 along with that is there is an Arachnophobia safe mode. You'll get prompted to turn it on as soon as you join into the game. Before you even start a game, I should say, in the main menu. My only comment on it is, I'm showing some clips of it here, is I don't think it's really as good. You still hear the audio. They say that you don't really hear audio for it. Maybe they're trying to make it less spider-like and more just like a creature in general. I don't have arachnophobia, so I can't comment, but I don't think it helps much. It still is pretty terrifying, and that's from somebody who doesn't have a fear of spiders, but that's whenever I'm much taller than them, not smaller than them. So that being said, I don't know if Arachnophobia mode is a hit, but let me know down below, and if you need it, it's there. Tip number 7 is analyze every chance you get, especially early game. As you get into the later game, you're not going to really have as much stuff to be able to analyze. You're going to kind of run out. But in the beginning, analyze everything, and don't forget to analyze the grass that you cut down as well as the weeds, because you have to pick them up and hold them while you analyze them. Make sure you analyze those as well. But I would first start by analyzing acorn shells because you can build some pretty cool armor with that. Tip number 8 is don't be afraid to fight. In the early game, I was very apprehensive to go ahead and fight. I kept tiptoeing around ants and such, even though they don't aggro on you, because I didn't know if I wanted to fight them. But once they started taking stuff out of my chests, I was pretty quick to fight them, and I found out they're not that difficult to beat. The only problem with ants is once you attack one of them, the others in the area will come to join as well. So be sure that you're ready to do that. As you get a little bit more advanced, I will say that there will be fighter ants that come to fight you, and they will just aggro automatically on you. Tip number 9, make a bow and arrow as fast as possible. They do not work on spiders. I tested it, but when some of the bugs are actually advancing against you, you can shoot them and they will run away. Also, maybe if you are perched up in a tree or on top of a grass shoot like I was, and a spider walks below you, if you shoot it with the arrow as kind of like the element of surprise, it will run away from you. If they have no way of attacking you, they will run. So it's a good way to maybe if you see a spider coming, shoot them to get them to run away, and then you can head the other way. Tip number 10, final tip, is don't be afraid to die. You know, in the beginning, I was very afraid to even make combat or try to test things, and I think it kind of restricted my gameplay. But once I died a few times, it wasn't too difficult. Just make sure that whatever you go out and have in your inventory, if you're planning to die, is not something you're afraid to either lose or fight to get back to. If you're just exploring, I would say, you know, early game, make a base and make a chest and kind of concentrate on being able to store that. But don't be afraid to die. Go out there and fight. There's only maybe a small handful of creatures that will aggro on you when they see you. And, you know, you can avoid them. If you are not looking to engage on spiders, just as soon as you kind of hear it, or more importantly, you see the grass moving, that's probably the biggest indicator of spiders, is the grass will start to part. Just turn around and run the opposite way. It's really not that bad. Well, guys, that's my top 10 tips right there for beginners. Again, I'll try to make a more advanced one coming soon. But for now, use those 10 tips. I hope you have fun in Grounded. It's a pretty good game so far. I'm kind of worried on how long the longevity of it will be, especially because I'm playing solo for now. I'll probably try multiplayer later. I'm sure there'll be more longevity for the multiplayer aspect once you get into building bases and defending and maybe even taking out spiders, because I haven't been able to do that quite yet. I'm sure there'll be more longevity. Maybe they'll have some bosses that'll be fun. But for now, I'm a little bit worried on how far it'll go, but it is in early development. I'm loving the game. As always, like the video, guys. Comment down below with your thoughts and subscribe. Thanks.